could, if you like a mass band in there. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so if we could remain standing and remember, as we always do every meeting, our men and women in the armed forces, home and abroad. I'd like to add tonight that we remember, whether we know anyone or not, 155,000 people that have passed from the COVID-19, and a local person that we all know, Skeeter Starr. Thank you very much. Before I open the public, we have two public hearings. Actually, we have three hearings tonight. And the reason, and that is exactly the reason for the meeting to be here versus the Village Hall, for which we do prefer to be there. It's live on TV. Here it is not, but what you can do, or anyone you want to tell, is tomorrow morning it'll be on the Village website. They always go on the Village website every meeting. But because we can't be live, that will be our way this meeting. And the reason for that, having it here, is because with 5 board members, our village attorney, a department head, our village clerk, and our Sean here, who operates the TV, that ends up being 5, 6, 7, that's 9 people before the public. And the village meeting room is not that large, so to keep separated, 9 is about the max. And I think if someone got a ruler out, it might be even that big for 9 people. So anyway, that's the reason the meeting is here and not live on TV. It's tough. We're trying to do the best we can. I see we have a school board member, we have a couple of school board members, and it's hard. It's hard today to obey the rules, and we want the public. I never thought I would miss the public at public meetings, and I do now. So it's a funny thing. You know? Anyway, here we go. So let's open up what time it is right now, Gina. I don't have a clock. You have. Although you be the timekeeper. And let's open up for public hearing, local law amending Article 6 of the zoning law, modifying the applicability of special exemption regulations to wireless communication facilities located on village property. So I will open up for public comment, but I will just say this. This is not a tower, as we think of cell towers that look like trees, that look like flagpoles. That's not what this is. This is for some antennas, similar, I guess, to even what the police department has on the roof of Village Hall. And I bet you didn't even know we had antennas up there, because when you drive down Main Street, I've looked, you can't see the antennas that are there now. But that's what this is. Verizon wants to, they've come and investigated different areas, down by the highway garage, up by the town highway garage, different areas in the village, and we can get better reception. God knows we need it if we allow Verizon to come in and put these antennas on the roof of Village Hall. So with that, I will keep quiet. It's a public hearing. I'm here to listen. We are here to listen to you. Yes.
I I'm Rita Doherty, I live here in the village. And that you kind of clarified something for me, but I just want to make sure, because last year of everything going on with the cell tower, and then this letter is from last August that you sent me about that the Homeland Towers LLC rejecting their application to a cell tower at the location of DPW 26 Havens Road, and then you talked about possibly on the sewer plant at 95 Road or the water plant on Mountain Avenue.
And at that, go ahead.
So is this the same thing that we're talking about? What are we talking
No,
about?
well, first of all, we're not talking, Homeland Towers is not involved.
Okay.
This is actually right to Verizon. And the attorney is here, please, Elise.
No, it's direct from Verizon.
And when I wrote that letter to you, as a person that's on the committee, it was correctly stated, everything in there, but since then, those other two locations, the wastewater treatment plant, and what was the other one?
The wastewater treatment and then the sewer.
Water?
Water, yeah,
Okay.
water.
They are, to move further than that letter, they are not on the table.
Oh.
And Homeland Towers is not,
Well, first of all,
I don't say we're never going to deal with Homeland Towers. I just haven't heard from them. And
well, we told them that the wastewater treatment plant was off the table, period,
Yeah.
because there wasn't enough room. And the village, should it ever want to expand that facility, needed all the additional space. So that was off the table some time ago.
so the letter is correct when it was written, but now the other two sites are off the table too.
The other, so all three sites are open?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to worry about cell tower in my backyard again?
That cell tower is not going in your backyard.
Okay.
It's going on, I hope, antennas, not cell tower. I want to make sure we use the right verbiage. Antennas are going, I hope, on the roof of Village Hall.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right, thank you.
And I saw you out there, and I was thinking maybe that's what you thought, but I wanted people to come to the meeting.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
I didn't discourage you outside. But that's good. Yeah, that site, you're done. It's over.
Okay, because I can report back to the neighbors.
Please,
There's none of them around.
please do that. I would appreciate that. Yes, everything? Good.
Anyone else?
No.
Next, go forward. Although you have said that this is not applicable to towers, there's nothing in the language that excludes the poles and the towers. Number one. Number two, it appears to me to be entirely too broad, giving the applicability of this law to any property owned by the village. It would include Grove Park, Little League, Municipal Park, Park on Center Street, the property that Ms. Doherty made mention. I believe the cemetery, Peacedale Cemetery, I believe is owned by the village.
No, it's all by the town, but that's okay. That's okay.
I think it's maintained by the town. I don't believe it's owned by the town.
Okay. We're not putting a cell tower in the cemetery.
Well, you gentlemen are now the office holders. This law would be applicable going forward if you were not. To make it so broad that it would be permitted to be put in places that I've indicated is wrong. The fact that it does not exclude the towers is another reason why it should not be acted upon this evening. The village is title owner of the property, effect, it's a citizen's fund. And you gentlemen are good stewards of the property. One of the stated reasons for the need of this local law is because of the emergency that occurred at the village hall, at the meeting room, when a person was unfortunately taken ill, and there was not a cell phone able to reach help. Has the village put in a landline in that room since that occurred?
Yes. Let's get, yes, the answer to your question is yes. Let's get past what that comment you just made, because that is 200% inaccurate. The reason, what you just said, I'm going to tell you. What, the antennas on the roof have nothing to do with the incident that was at Village Hall. That's never, I'll be honest with you.
I didn't say that it did.
Yeah, you did. That's okay.
No,
All
I
right,
said,
go ahead, it's public comment. You
I
go.
said that this would permit.
Well, I would hope. I would hope it would, I hope it would allow other communications also. That's the reason for doing it.
It would have, in addition to diminishing substantial values of properties if the siting was not correctly made. You say that it's limited to antennas, but it's not.
It is. But I appreciate your comments.
Where does
Go ahead, keep going.
Where does it say that it is limited to antennas and prohibits poles?
You keep going. It's your turn.
I'm asking you as a responsible
No, this is
person.
public. This is public comment. This is for you right now. Totally for you.
You're unwilling to answer a reasonable question. Given those circumstances, I believe it's premature. And I agree that there is a need. But not when you give carte blanche involving all village properties. And I ask that before you enact this, that you take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Because what you're doing is making available on all village property. You require, under the ordinance as it now exists, certain protections when these communication facilities are constructed. If it is good enough for the public, the citizens, to be bound by those laws, it's equally important that the village be bound by the same laws as anyone else. If there is a need to tailor it to particular properties because of their dimensions, that can be done, but not to permit the granting of these facilities, which include commercial wireless expansion and all the other words set forth in the proposed resolution. To rush for judgment at this point without considering those is irresponsible.
Thank you.
I would just note that I think it would be very difficult to place a
I'm
cell.
sorry, could you speak a little
I think it
louder?
would be very difficult to place a cell tower on land that is used as a park, because that would be a use that's not allowed and would require alienation of the legislature. So if the board wants to modify the local law to specifically exclude parks and playgrounds, that's an easy enough fix, and I think that would address some of Mr. Copal's concerns.
It may be difficult to locate it, but this has removed all of the setback and other provisions that were set forth in the existing law.
Well, there are two ways to do that, Mr. Copal. One way,
Pardon me?
there are two ways to exempt cell tower application from local zoning law. One way is to specifically include it in a local law like this, which at that point, because it specifically excludes those that are located on village property, the other way to do it is to, and many municipalities are doing this because it's very difficult, as you probably know, to prevent a cell tower from coming into your municipality. The other way to exempt cell towers from local law, local zoning law, is to do a Monroe balancing test. And that would be done on a site-by-site, application-by-application, specific review. Doing it this way makes it very clear that the board is not interested in particularly doing Monroe balancing tests for any application that comes before the Consolidated Planning Board.
Thank you. Okay, is there any,
You stated that this law as written would permit cell towers, but it would be difficult to find the village space where it could be done.
Well, I didn't actually say it would be difficult to find.
It should, if it's going to prohibit, as the mayor said, cell towers and be limited to antennas, number one, it ought to describe antennas, because some antennas could be 75 feet high or 100. And it should be clear that this law, to give an exemption, is not applicable to cell towers.
any other comments, please? Yes.
Michael Joyce, I'm also a resident of Highland Falls. When placing a tower, pole, whatever, we are taking into account of the historical value of West Point and any government grants to historical sites that would help this township. Because putting a pole, antenna, whatever, could be like a sore thumb in the middle of a beautiful historic region.
Any other comments? Yeah, close the public hearing.
You need a motion to close?
Motion. Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second? Second. Second by trustee Lindsay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number two, next one, next public hearing.
What was the vote on that?
We didn't vote. The next public hearing is the abandonment of Brook Street. I'll open up the public hearing. For those that don't know Brook Street, I would refer to it as a driveway that leads up to Titolo's house on Mountain Avenue and the former Storm's house that you have been maintaining for many years. So is there any comments on, public comment on abandonment of Brook Street? I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Remus, is there a second? Trustee Howard, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. just want to make reference also that in the News of the Highlands was the legal notice for both of these public hearings.
Also, Mr. Titolo did certify that he did the mailings as required.
Good.
And he will be providing an affidavit of mailing.
Okay. You caught up, Gina? Open and close?
Yep.
Next on the agenda is public hearing on property maintenance of the following addresses: 11 Church Street, 53 Villa Parkway, 10 Muller Avenue, 72 Mountain Avenue, and 6 Catherine Street. Is there anyone here of the owner or representing any of those properties? Let the record show no one is here representing or owning the properties of 6 Catherine, 11 Church, 10 Muller, 72 Mountain, and 53 Villa Parkway. All in Highland Falls, New York, 10928. Whereas long-standing violations of the Village Property Maintenance Law, Chapter 170 of the Village of Highland Falls Code has existed at each property listed above, designated as tax map, as noted. Whereas the property owner or owners have been given due notice of said violations and have been directed to correct the violations. And whereas the property owner or owners were given due notice of a public hearing to be held by the Board of Trustees on the 3rd of August 2020 at 7 p.m. to determine whether the violations have been properly remedied and whether to order that corrective action be undertaken by the village to correct said violations at the property owner's cost and expense, and to bill said cost and expense to the property owner and to levy the same against the property. And whereas the public hearing was duly held by the Board of Trustees on the 3rd of August 2020, and whereas the owners or owners did not appear, and whereas the owner or owners have not taken steps to correct the violations, and the violations still exist. Whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized pursuant to Section 170-2 of the Property Maintenance Law to authorize the village undertake to remedy such violations at the property owner's cost and expense. Now therefore be it resolved that the village, its contractors, or agents shall enter upon the property to correct the violations, and that all costs incurred by the village, including administrative, legal, and corrective act costs, be charged to the property owner, and such charge shall be added to the tax bill of the property owner if not paid within 30 days of the notification to the last known address of the property owner as shown on the village tax records. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo. Is there a second? Second. Second by trustee Howard. May I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
You know, when we're talking about that, it's gotten now to the point where things are growing out of the fences and people can't walk by the houses. It's not just the lawns that need to be taken care of. If you've got trees and you've got bushes sticking out of the fence, that's going to be cleaned up. People can't walk their animals on certain blocks. That's going to be done. So I'm not real happy about we just deal with the lawns. It's got to be cleaned up, the property.
Thank you. May I have approval of minutes that were printed for us from a regular meeting that was held on July 20 of 2020 and a special meeting that we held on July 28, 2020. Motion. Motion by trustee Livesey. Is there a second?
Second.
Which one? Okay, so let's do them. So let's do these separate. Let's I have a motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee Howard, to accept the minutes from July 20 of 2020. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of the special meeting on July 28, 2020?
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Livesey, may I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee Alward,
Aye.
trustee Ramus,
Abstain.
trustee DeSalvo,
Yes.
Mayor DiNapoli.
Aye. Motion carries, thank you. Next, we have a resolution for adoption of local law 3 of 2020, amending Article 6 of the zoning law modifying the special exemption regulations for wireless communication facilities located on village property. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, may I have roll call? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just want to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
At least how, if the board were to think about adding the exclusion of parks and parks, playgrounds, and cemeteries located within the village of Highland Falls, is that a one-liner the board would consider putting in there?
Yes, I think the board, if it's in agreement, we could certainly make that modification tonight. It would make the law more restrictive, and I think address some of the comments, and so I would suggest that that's.
And so how would we, I know I have a motion and a second, so I have to be careful here, but how do we go about that as part of this motion, which we can,
I would do a separate
so that's,
motion.
okay, let's get through this, and then we'll do that.
Well, no, you'll have to amend the local law first. In other words, you would make a motion
So I'll,
to direct that the local law be modified to exempt, to not exempt parks.
parks, playgrounds, and
Play-
cemeteries located within the village of Highland Falls. So I'll make that motion for the amendment.
Okay, I gotta clean up something. You want that first, you said?
Yes, so you're
Okay,
going to
so
withdraw the other motion.
Pardon?
You're going to withdraw the motion.
Okay, could I ask the trustee who made the motion to withdraw?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Trustee Howard withdrew his motion.
Okay.
Anything more on that for the record?
So you
Okay,
now
may I have a motion?
So moved as amended.
I'll second that. You have this, Gina? Trustee
Okay.
Raymond seconded?
Mhm.
Okay. May I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee Alward,
Aye.
trustee Ramus,
Aye.
trustee DeSalvo,
Aye.
Mayor DiNapoli.
Aye, motion carries.
So
Let-
now the local law.
Now let's go back to the local law.
It has been amended to not exempt parks, playgrounds, and cemeteries owned by the village.
Okay?
So that's done, so now if you wish to adopt the local law as amended, you can do a motion for that.
Brian, do you want to do that?
Motion.
Motion to adopt the law as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Lip.
Question for Elise. Do we just read the resolution?
Let
That
me
was
read
given
the
to them?
Resolution into the record. This is, whereas an introductory local law titled amending Article 6 of the zoning law modifying applicability of special exception
Thank you.
regulations to wireless communication facilities located on village property was introduced before the Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls on, do you have the date it was?
June 1.
June 1?
Mhm.
And whereas upon duly noticed, duly published and posted, hearing was held on said local law on August 3, 2020, where public discussion was heard concerning the merits of said local law, and after hearing from all those present wishing to speak, the Board of Trustees declared the public hearing closed. And whereas, I'm adding this because I left it out, the proposed local law was referred to the Orange County Department of Planning, which responded by letter dated,
I have it here.
yeah, it's dated June 4th, 2020, that the proposed local law was a local determination. And whereas the Board of Trustees determined that this was a type 2 action pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.5 C21 and C33 of the regulations implementing the State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker, requiring no further seeker action. Now therefore be resolved that the introductory local law titled amending Article 6 of the zoning law modifying applicability of special exception regulations to wireless communications facilities located on village property of the Village of Highland Falls be and hereby is adopted on August 3, 2020 as local law number 3, correct?
Yes.
Of the Village of Highland Falls. On a motion?
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard. May I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Alward?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
And I will make that modification.
Please. Okay, next I have a resolution for conveying a portion of Brook Street.
Mr. Mayor, do you want me to read that? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Whereas an application has been made by James Titolo, the applicant, to the Village of Highland Falls Village Board of Trustees and to the interim superintendent of highways of the Village of Highland Falls to purchase a certain portion of Brook Street from the intersection of Mountain Avenue where Brook Street intersects with Highland Brook. And whereas because the bridge over Highland Brook is no longer in existence, Brook Street no longer connects Mountain Avenue to Mearns Avenue and has not been used by the public for a period in excess of 6 years. And whereas Brook Street no longer serves as a thoroughfare and is no longer utilized by the public, and Mr. Titolo owns property that abuts each side of Brook Street. And whereas by letter dated April 8, 2020, the interim highway superintendent of highways has certified that the village does not maintain or perform repairs to the subject road, nor is Brook Street listed on the inventory of streets for the Village of Highland Falls, and therefore consents to abandonment. And whereas the proposed abandonment was, I added this, the proposed abandonment, because I forgot it, was duly referred to the Consolidated Planning Board, which responded by correspondence dated July 27, 2020, that the Consolidated Planning Board had no objections to the abandonment. And whereas a duly noticed public hearing was convened on August 3, 2020, and after hearing from all those who wished to speak on the subject, the Board of Trustees closed the public hearing. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Highland Falls Board of Trustees hereby declare that a portion of Brook Street from the intersection of Mountain Avenue to the southwest corner of property identified as SPL 102-4-1 to the southeast corner of the property identified as SPL 102-4-4, abandoned pursuant to authority granted to the Board of Trustees by Village Law Section 6-612. Be it further resolved that pursuant to the authority vested in the Board of Trustees by Village Law Section 4-412, the Board of Trustees agrees to sell that portion of Brook Street identified herein to James Titolo for the sum of $10. Be it further resolved that the sale of the aforementioned property is conditioned on Mr. Titolo, 1, causing a survey of the property to be conveyed to be prepared by a licensed surveyor, which survey shall be reviewed by the village engineer for accuracy. 2, causing a quitclaim deed to be prepared by a real estate attorney, which deed shall be reviewed and approved by the village attorney. 3, causing the preparation of a TP 584 real estate transfer form and all other required real estate forms. 4, recording said survey deed and real estate transfer forms in the office of the Orange County Clerk, and returning said proof of filing to the village clerk. And 5, that the official map of the streets of the Village of Highland Falls be changed to reflect the exclusion of that portion of Brook Street conveyed to Mr. Titolo. Be it further resolved that Mr. Titolo shall reimburse the village for all costs related to this action, specifically the cost of review by the village engineer and village attorney as related to this action, and the cost of modification of the official map, if any. And Mr. Titolo shall deposit a sum of $3,000 with the village clerk to to be placed in escrow for said review and modification of the official map, which unexpended escrow monies, if any, shall be returned to Mr. Tito upon completion and modification of the official map. On a motion by.
Second. I'm sorry. Motion by trustee Ramus, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee DeSalvo. May I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Okay, next on the agenda is the Town of Highlands Youth Baseball. We'd like to have a softball tournament at Roe Park on Sunday, August 22, rain date August 29th, from 8 a.m. to dusk, to hold a men's softball tournament fundraiser for a new snack shack for the Little League. We have everything from the folks that want to do this, which is great, except their insurance, which they know, and they're getting it to us. So a motion to approve this, if you care, would be pending insurance.
I personally, I think it's a great cause and, and all of that, but, and I'm going to support it. But I have to tell you, perhaps it's just me, I'm a gym fanatic, and my gyms are closed. I just don't understand where we are in the state of New York right now. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing with the businesses. I don't get what they're doing with the gym facilities. I don't understand what they're doing in large gatherings. I just don't know what's supposed to be and what's supposed to be not anymore. And I don't think representatives of New York know where we're at. I just don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what to support on gatherings or what not to support on gatherings or marches or protests or any of the above. I don't think there's been anything clarified, really written to anyone to state this is exactly what you have to do. Congratulations to the wedding couple over the weekend down at the church, but there was a huge crowd out there. I just don't get it and understand what's going on. I'm going to support this because all of this is going on, but I really would like to see Albany come back with what is supposed to happen, because especially with the businesses and these businesses locally here, this is hurting. It's hurting, and we're trying to do the best we can, because we're hearing what we're supposed to be doing, but we're looking at things on the outside of what's going on, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. But anyway, I'll make a motion for this.
Okay.
So Mr. Mayor, just so you know, I was on the Department of Environmental Conservation New York State website today, and they have updates for the August Outdoor Discovery information, and it is about playing smart, playing safe, playing locally, playing outside. They do have a social distancing guideline. It's a PDF format, so there are guidelines out there. Obviously, they asked about please pack a mask. We do note that there are a lot of people that are using the parks right now because they need to get out of the house. Everyone's going a little stir crazy, so anything that can get people outside in a safe manner, and if they follow by these rules, I think is a good thing.
Thank you. So I have a motion to allow this.
I'll second it if you're looking for a second. But I just, this date doesn't conflict with the other group, right?
No, and I know that only because they were looking for Sundays, and I said the Sundays are taken.
Okay.
So it's a Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll second the request, pending insurance.
Pending insurance,
To the
okay.
clerk,
All, I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
yeah. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we have a letter here from our highway superintendent who's at the meeting tonight to request the air compressor at the DPW garage. Here's the model number, etc., be surplus, and it has been I want you to listen to this. It's 1988.
Yes, we got the light.
That's like over 30 years old. And you know, I could say a few things. We all could say what I'm going to say right now, but just a couple of things. To have a piece of equipment operate for 30 years, that's a testament to you guys. But also we need to upgrade our equipment a little bit. It's like the piece of equipment that we went out to auction that we laughed if we were going to get $10 for it. The welder, which was 25 years old. If you looked at it, you'd say, put that out with the trash. We got $500. So this auction thing that we've gone to, instead of putting a legal notice in the paper that would have gotten us $50, is proving to be the way to go. You know, and that was Chief Scott that brought that auction thing to us. And we've had a couple others. I think a couple cars, the fire car, much more we got than anyone thought. So there's people out there that are buying antiques, I guess. Okay, so may I have a motion to accept the recommendation for this piece of equipment to be surplus?
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second? Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I would request that, with approval here, that for the LoSAP, which is the fire department program, length of service award program, the village clerk is requesting that she be appointed along with the deputy treasurer and Sierra as trustees of the fire department LoSAP, giving them authorization to be signatories of any documents necessary to operate the program. It's a formality.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I have two, and I'll do them one at a time, requests for handicap spots. Resolution you have before you, it's section 108-71, handicap parking. Name of the street is Cooks Lane, the east side, and you have the location there beginning 120 feet south from the intersection of Mountain Avenue to Cooks Lane and continuing south for a distance of 20 feet. There is someone over there that's very handicapped that would appreciate this spot. If I could have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo. Is there a second? Trustee Ramus, may I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, the second handicap spot is on Perry Avenue. Again, it's section 108-71, handicap parking, Perry Avenue, the north side, beginning 148 feet east from intersection of Church Street and Perry Avenue, and continuing east for a distance of 20 feet. This is an older person also in the community that needs this spot.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Howard, may I have roll call?
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Howard? Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye, thank you so much. Motion carries. Okay, once a year this comes up, I need authorization to sign the annual renewal for the EAP service agreement, addendum number 14. This is the program that we offer, you know, it's a program we offer all our employees, part of their health benefits.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Let's hire some people. Everybody's losing their job, and we're going to hire people. That's good. So, we know we've had 2 openings down the highway department caused by people moving around. One person left, the other person went to another department. Trustee Howard, along with Highway Superintendent John Jones, did interviews thoroughly, I will say thoroughly. And the recommendations back to us is Jacob Sizemore, who lives here in the village, and Dwayne McQueen, who also lives here in the village. Both will be hired at entry level, which is a laborer, $14 an hour, maximum of 52-week probation, effective August the 6th would be the start date this week for both. So they both have $14 an hour, they're both on 52-week probation, and they both start August the 8th, 2020.
All references were checked and they came clear.
Are you okay if we do these together, or you want them separate?
Separate.
Okay, so let's do, may I have a motion to hire Jacob Sizemore?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to hire Dwayne McQueen?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard.
Second.
Seconded by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. I know it was work. Appreciate it, John. Now you gotta mold it. It's all on you now.
Yeah, I know.
Usually is, right?
Okay, I have bills and claims here for fiscal year 2020, 2021 of $278,723.14.
Motion.
I'll second the motion for bills and claims, with just a note to highlight that we had, the reason why the number's so high is that we had some major stuff happen down at the sewer plant, most notably at the belt press.
And so, and that's a good point to bring up, because out of that money, almost $111,000 was for the electric. And there's another $60,268 for the belt press. I'm going to come back to this, but I appreciate what you said. So you made a motion to pay bills. Is there a second?
I seconded it.
You seconded it. You have it, Gina?
Yes.
First, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, did you do the street sweeper? I see that.
I'm sorry, I can't find my agenda, and I had the whole meeting here. A good point, and I skipped over it, and I'm glad you're going to bring me back to it. I'm going to table, I want the board to know and let the minutes reflect that I'm going to table the resolution for street sweeping. All right, thank you. I don't know where my mind is. Okay, just a few things, and then I want the board to. Okay, so I want the public, the board and the public to know this, that, and this goes back to the belt press, Jim. Another time frame, maybe a year and a half ago, Gina, Bud, or just maybe a year and a half ago. You'll remember there was a gentleman named Bud, and we were going after an EFC, low interest rate loan to do this work. And the belt press came in at $856,000. Now the belt press, John, give us a 10-second thing on the belt press. It hasn't been working right for a long time.
Years.
And we've been putting Band-Aids on it and Band-Aids on it. So it was no surprise that it had to be replaced. And it's the original one that came with the plant.
Yes.
Okay. So, we also had approval, this is going back, we also had approved $2.2 million was approved to do this job. To date, the project has cost us the following. With Bud, it was $11,000. MHE, our engineer, we've paid him $116,000. His bill is $190,000. Eventus, $626,396. And Black Electric, we've paid $122,000. His bill's $137,000. So I bring all this up because, as you all know, during our budget workshops that we've had over the last few years, that we've had a couple of pieces of equipment paid off down at the sewer plant that we were paying every budget. But we kept putting that money off to the side for more capital projects at the sewer plant. One year it was $150,000, second year $285,000, third year $285,000, and this year $285,000. So the bottom line with these bills of high amount is that the village was able to put money off to the side, knowing the project was going to have to be done. And now we don't have to go any further at this point with EFC. Therefore, there's no interest. Jimmy, help me here. Am I making it clear?
Sure.
So this money we had saved, and now it'll pay for the whole project. Right now, it looks like it's going to pay for the whole project, including engineering. There's one more piece of the project to be done, which we haven't started, which is the heater, the sludge. Yeah. So in talking with our engineer, we think, please try to remember that word that I said, we think we still have enough money in the money that we've been putting off to do the heater. If that's the case, then that's a good news story completely. And then once that heater is installed, the sludge heater, that will cut down dramatically the cost of oil.
Yes.
Because we're going to burn the methane and use that. So there's a real good story. The environment, saving taxpayers money, the plant working better, more efficiently, and so that's all good stuff.
And all of the major equipment down there will be up to date.
Up to date. Thank you. I want to say that one word, I'm not going to. Sorry for that. Okay. You all right? Okay. That's a good news story. Okay. Over the next few days, I need you guys, board here, to talk to John or Todd about the sidewalk on 41 Snyder Avenue. That's the one on the left going up. There's a couple of deep holes. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's in the middle of the hill.
Middle of the hill, on the left. For people like Ned and I who are a little bit older, not much, just before you get to Galoo's. Wow. Okay. I need you guys to look at Snyder Avenue all the way up at the top, around 61 to 67?
69.
69. That whole strip from 61 to 69.
The sidewalks of the road.
Sidewalk. It's all on one side, on the left as you're heading towards the dead end. 61 to 69. John, could you tell the board briefly the issue that we just found with Burns Avenue with the 2 storm drains? And then, so you guys know, it's on the Burns Avenue side of Dr. Gergely, the wall that fell, that's ours to replace. It's up on top there. Can you?
There's 3 storm drains. There's a storm drain across the street on Burns Avenue that needs to be replaced, that's collapsed. And the pipe going from that over to the one in front of Gergely's house, the pipe going into that needs to be replaced. And then there was a pipe running along the wall that collapsed that they replaced, that was replaced partially. When they dug it up, they found out that that partial replacement is what broke. And and that's why the wall collapsed. So that pipe, 2 pieces of pipe and 1 catch basin has to be replaced up there before they can fix the wall. And I was asked if we could do it. Yes, we can do it in-house, but we're not a construction company. It's going to take us a while, and Donardo has his equipment up there to replace the wall, and he can't do that until this is done. And if we have to rebuild the catch basin, replace the pipe, it's gonna take us a while. We only have a few guys, as you know, we just hired 2 new guys, so
So
we
I would,
can do it, but it would be easy to get that done. It would-
Can you do that with just a backhoe, or you have to get an excavator?
No, we'd have to get Jeff back up there.
it's a
So
major
there would
problem.
be, that would be, if we did it with just the backhoe, it's gonna take us even longer.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Question, that whole section of Burns is in the works to be eventually done. I know
Yeah.
we've been talking about it for, going on probably 15 years now.
Well, it was the Sue Kelly money,
No,
because I finally
yeah,
got it all.
it took forever to get, I get it. So, question, if we're gonna be doing a major drainage project on that road, and/or the wall that holds up the road, is it possible that we can have a conversation with Todd? I'm okay with hiring whoever we need to hire to get it done, because it sounds like we can't move forward with the wall. But maybe we can use some of those monies, if it's possible, since we're doing drainage on that road anyway, eventually, so that we don't, you know, that this, it seems like there's so many of these jobs coming up this year, which I'm not saying that there are definitely jobs that are needed, but I think we're also heading into, you know, a cash flow crunch as we move down the road. So, you know, I'm just a little concerned about that.
Jim, you're,
Which I'm sure we all are.
listen, that's a great question. And I actually, in my thoughts a lot, I've thought of that same question actually. And here's the issue with it. This, as I refer to Sue Kelly money, a few $100,000 that we have for Burns Avenue. And you're right, because the good news is, for the way you're asking is, that particular part of the road is actually in the section that we have to do. So that all fits. But the state won't, DOT won't release that money for that road, storm drains, paving, curbing, until they review the final plans and a couple other hoops that I have in the folder. It's going to be difficult to use that money. What's really going to be difficult is to get it approved, if it ever could get approved, before the wall has to be fixed.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait. I would think it would be something similar to where we've been able to maybe do some work and then maybe get reimbursed. I don't know.
So what I need you guys to do is to talk to John, you know, and I'll go up and look if you want, but you could seriously try to let me know by Friday, either by the phone or send me an email or something, or see me.
I don't know what, I haven't talked to Todd. Everybody should know though that the longer that we draw this out, he's not gonna do anything to that wall until this drainage problem. He can't, because it's just gonna happen again. So we can't, it's not like we can wait weeks for this. I mean,
So John, I got a quick question. You said not only the pipes, but some of the catch basins, correct?
there's a catch basin across the street that's collapsed.
That's
That pipe-
collapsed. So are we gonna put in a prefab
Yeah.
concrete one?
Yes.
So that's, because
We're
you said
We're gonna
rebuild.
buy, and actually, we're going to buy.
We're gonna buy a catch basin in the pipe, and
Okay.
Donardo's gonna put it in.
He'll furnish the labor.
Correct.
Right, but I was just a little confused when you said rebuild.
But yeah, we're gonna put a prefab.
You put it in pre,
Yeah,
okay, thanks.
but they won't go any further, their equipment's up there, and they won't do the wall until, because it's just gonna fall again.
Do we have an idea what the expense is going to be?
I do.
What?
I do.
I mean, there's no sense of waiting until Friday if if one
Well,
can't
it's
get
okay,
that.
you know, I just want to give you guys,
Our engineer put all the information in the boxes in the village hall.
I actually, did anyone bring that packet that I put? It had some blue lettering on it, stapled to some papers. I left it all in the boxes.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there earlier.
Let me see if I bought it.
Come on now.
Is that it? Is that it? Okay. All right, there you go.
24. 24.
I thought it was. So that's just for the catch basins in the pipe.
Can you pass that down?
You know,
Right,
yeah, it's coming, it's coming.
And the frames and grids.
Yeah, whatever,
So
that's
that's all notes.
Here you go, Brian. If you guys want to decide now, I mean, I kind of think we have to. I know we don't want to.
I think to expedite the project,
Well, it's an emergency repair, that's the only reason why I'm okay with moving with it now. And there's also that's wait until Friday after we get 5 minutes.
Okay, I just wanted to give you guys time.
season is upon us.
Yeah.
The quicker we can channel the stormwater runoff to the proper place, the better off we're gonna be.
And we know now that that's what did the walling. We know that now. So I can move on? Are we ready to say okay on this?
Well, I think we're gonna have to, because, you know, we're gonna be pushing here, we're in August now, and John, I mean,
So we just need to-
I know that you guys can do this job,
That's 24 minutes.
but manpower wise, you just don't have it.
No, I agree.
You just don't have the manpower right now, so I know you got a couple new guys that are coming on and everything else, but it's just not gonna happen, you know?
Just gonna approve it as an emergency repair.
Yeah, yeah, we could, because it is.
Make a motion.
And he's gonna be able to get right on this then?
He's already up there. He's putting-
No, I mean, I know his equipment's up there, but can he get right on this then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
I'm worried about tomorrow.
tomorrow's gonna be.
Tomorrow, there could be more damage up there.
Tomorrow's gonna be a mess.
Well, if there's material in here, like, if we're gonna buy that would actually come out of that. I don't know, does it say that? You understand that? And we're just looking at the pool. We're going to buy all the material that we can, whether it's the pipe, the precast.
We'll get all that, yeah.
It saves a little.
It's just like, all right, so we're gonna supply the material. John, what would you estimate the material cost? Just not hold you to it.
Well, just the catch basin alone, once he gives you the size, $1,000, but our price is different than
Yeah, I know.
if he would buy.
All right.
The pipe is, that's gonna, you know.
All right,
put a
so-
plastic pipe in.
Just the pipe, not, he's gonna supply the bedding material, John?
Well, if he wants that, he brings that, but if he wants it, we already have that,
You have, okay.
yeah.
If there's no objection from the board, I will tell the village engineer to move forward with the company to fix the drainage so that he can then do the wall.
Do you want us to approve this amount?
Yes.
Motion.
Can we put the motion for an emergency repair to catch basins and drainage on
Yes.
West Avenue?
Yes, because it is.
I'll second that as an amended motion. For 24,000.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Jimmy, I want you to look into this. Little research. Geese. So DEC has a, which you may know, has a problem, we have a problem. The DEC can help us with the geese. They come down and there's a I'm gonna call it a cage. And there's a certain time of the year when they lose their feathers and they can't fly. And they'll herd them into the cage. All of them, I guess they just follow. And then they take them, they will take them, and they, I believe,
Redistributed?
I don't want to use the word,
Say relocate.
Reload.
they relocate them.
Right.
Sometimes into people's houses. I mean, that's what they do.
So,
So, I want you to look into this, I'm gonna give you this packet. It might be the best thing for us to do. It's funny how the state works. Depending on how many miles you are from Albany is what the price is. Can you imagine that?
Makes about right sense.
since they got an office in New Paltz, you think you would.
No, it's from Albany or Syracuse.
I will, but you just have to realize whatever transpires with this, New East will move in.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay,
We know that.
okay. Everything's good.
Okay. Some real quick things, then I'm gonna get on with the board. Today happens to be Buffalo Soldiers Day, and so that's very dear to this community because a lot of those fellas moved into our community, and we always think of Sergeant Matthews as a Buffalo soldier, along with many others, but I just want to say that today is Buffalo Soldiers Day. I want to commend the Rotary. I think they did some work over at the cemeteries with flags, and they're trying to organize and where these military folks are buried in all of our cemeteries and make sure they have the proper flags. A lot of the stones aren't marked that they were military, and yet we know that many of the men and women at the cemeteries are military vets, but their stone might not say it, and they deserve a flag too. I want to commend the Holland Falls Library. They're working hard to get themselves reopened from their curbside way they're doing business now to getting, letting folks eventually sooner rather than later get inside. I saw a news story from Orange and Rockland that they donated quite a bit of money to local food pantries. And as I read the article, I didn't see a food pantry in Highland Falls. I sent an email. They sent me an email back. They want to know where they can send a check to. So I will be doing that this week. And I thank them for letting us be a part of that also because the need is here also. The board would like to say happy birthday to Mrs. Ross, who turns 100 years old on Thursday, August the 6th. Mrs. Ross lives down in Saddle Grove. She's one of the nicest ladies in town, beautiful person. She's going to be 100. I did go to the change of command with the new garrison commander to say goodbye to the current and then welcome the new garrison commander, and a meeting is being arranged for her to come down and we'll talk about things as we've done with so many garrison commanders. Yesterday morning a couple of transformers were installed on Edward Street off of Mountain Avenue. It went more smoothly than I thought it was going to go. I was up there early in the morning and traffic was light, which helped. And they were very organized on how they did it. So those new transformers will help us with more voltage, with development that's happening, and less outage. And they had this very big truck right in front of your house, and I could hear it running from down the street, and I'm going, oh my God, the mayor's going to come out and he's going to yell at me. but I went up there and I didn't see your car.
I wasn't home.
You weren't
I
home,
wasn't home.
so I thought, good.
Actually, I met.
It was noisy.
I met him in the parking lot and we were talking and, they had their game on.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
John Crane, what was the company, the crane company,
Page something.
Bay?
Yeah.
Oh, big
And
crane.
you had, you said that we used them. They were
Yeah.
very, very, very good.
RPCs, right?
Yeah, they are,
I did get a letter from Guest Services. Guest Services is part of the couple of motels that West Point runs, or somebody runs. One's over here at the Lady Cliff property, the other one's up by the firehouse at West Point. And I've never received this kind of letter from them before. It's about COVID-19, and they haven't recovered yet. And business is bad, and very bad, and there's probably 30 employees here who have lost their job. So that's not good. The last thing I have is that is this. It's amazing what's around here. You mentioned history before. You're not going to be able to see these pictures, but this is up at Bog Meadow. This happened this past weekend between Lower Bog and Upper Bog on the road, on the dirt road. So you'll be more familiar with it, John, than anyone in the room probably. But between Lower Bog, which you see first, and as you keep going, Upper Bog, there's a stone. Jim, what do you call this? A stone. It's like a mountain, but it's
An outcrop.
Outcrop. And I want to go up there because they found a very large Indian community of buildings. So the Raiders actually happened here, by the way. As I would think you would know that. But there's, Jimmy, you would like this too. I think all of us would. A tremendous amount of buildings, foundations that were found. And they had all these experts up there, and Stella Bailey went, and with these other guys. And what they found, we should go up there sometime.
Absolutely.
We all know Indians were here. But they found this community, if you will. Good stuff. Bert?
Just,
Nobody's interested in that.
just real quick, just a couple things. One thing I just want to talk about, the communication antennas. We've been talking about better communication in this community for a long time. We've been talking about cell towers ever since I was on the town board. The only problem is we could never find the right area to put a cell tower. If you go to put a cell tower in one area, and if it's not your area of residence, it's a great area to put the cell tower. And that kept happening, and I'm going back probably 10 years ago. And in this community that we have, it's bad cell in the town of Highlands. That's what's here. And when it comes to needing to make that call, and you don't have it for emergency service-wise or anything else, we have to have something in the community. And I can tell you, being on this board here, and with the mayor and the other boards members, we've been through a lot of things looking for places. I mean, we've had a lot of ideas. Let's put a cell tower here, where we were thinking about, and you put balloons up and you look at it, and it's just, you bounce around all over the place. But I have to tell you, for trying to put something out there, I've been here in this community since there was a movie theater on Main Street. Okay, that's a long time. I've never looked up at the roof of the village hall. I've never looked up. So, I mean, to me, this is like the first time looking up. I just wouldn't notice if there's an antenna up on top of there or not. And again, this is for communication to be put out to the residents of the community, but in my feeling too, it's a lot better to have something for the emergency service part too, to be able to be reassured that when you dial your phone, you're going to get connected, and that's a big thing. So yes, I support this, and I think it's a good idea to be able to move forward in this. Some of these cell towers are just terrible looking, and I'll be the first to admit it. Secondly, the other thing I want to mention is we all know that we're going to have a storm tomorrow. I really urge a lot of the residents, we haven't had a storm in a long time. And if you're listening, well, they're not going to be able to listen because we're not live. But for you folks that are in this room here, go check your basements out. If you have any pumps down in the basements, make sure that they're working. Because we're going to get a lot of rain tomorrow. John, you know that. We've been getting ready all day today for this storm for tomorrow. It's going to be winds and everything else. And we haven't had this in a while, so this will be a true test of how ready are we. And that's about it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Brian? Thank you.
Two new people, Gina, start on the 6th of August. John, what do you want them to meet you? The two new employees.
If they're coming on the 5th, we'll
The 6th.
call them.
The 6th.
If they come on the 5th, we'll come right to the garage. I'll come down there and we'll go.
7 o'clock at the garage.
7 o'clock.
New employees really should be there at 10.
That's what I said,
Good
6:50. There you go.
Don't come with
I'd be there at 6:30, but
don't come with a coffee in your hand.
Or say
No,
it's
just
hot.
one.
Don't come with a cup of coffee in your hand.
Jimmy? Either way. Mr. Design.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Trustee Livesey said before. You know, during this whole virus thing, having seen at the bank and, you know, just seeing on TV and talking with folks that I know, the food industry has probably got hurt and hit the worst out of this whole thing. So, you know, even to the two candidates we hired tonight, one recently had food industry background, and the other one did have also food industry background. You may see a lot of your favorite places, and I'm not necessarily talking in our community, because I think there's been a tremendous support staff from folks trying to, you know, patronize the local eateries as much as possible. But there may be some places, you know, when the federal money runs out, you might not see these places open anymore, and it's a real shame. And to Trustee Livesey's point, as usual, you see it more if you're involved on a school board or a village board or a town board or the county level. The direction from upstate New York, there really is none.
I appreciate you saying that, Trustee.
There really is none. And while we have to have our hands tied behind our back sometimes, it's tenfold on the school board, town board, county. It is very, very hard to watch a business go out of business, and it really stinks. So I just want to do a shout out to the local residents, which the board has, the mayor has, to continue to support however you can our local businesses in town. You know, most of those places are brick and mortar. Either they own the building that they're in, so they pay taxes, or they pay rent, which in turn does pay the taxes on those buildings. So, you know, continue to do the best you can. Continue to shop local as best you can. I do understand that, you know, some things we do have to go out of town for, but as, you know, where and when is possible. You know, the hardware stores are open now. You know, follow whatever guidelines that you have to, wearing a mask, trying to keep social distancing. But as much as you can, it's important to shop local, and that's just my message. And please, pick up your rubber gloves, pick up your used masks. Don't leave them in the street. Don't leave them in the park. I see them all over the place. So think about it. If you have one in your pocket and You're going in and out of a store, make sure it's there. If you think you dropped it, turn around, take a look. Broke the trash. There's beautiful new trash cans on Main Street. Use them. Thank you.
Jim, give me 1 second. So to pick up off of that, let me reiterate a program that needs to be said again. I never have stopped it. If you buy a $50 gift certificate at any store, restaurant, hardware store, whatever stores are on Main Street in Highland Falls, buy a $50 gift certificate, just come to me with your receipt, and I will give you a parking pass for a whole year to park on Main Street free for 1 year from the date that I give it to you. So, again, I'm throwing that out there. And the last thing I want, since we're talking about the virus, is this. A couple of hours ago, I was on the phone with the county doctor, Dr. Gilman, and I wanted to know, not why, but for lack of a word at the moment, why our numbers are going up. We are up to 225 according to the county website. Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery. Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery. 225. I don't know the breakdown between each community. It's 225 cases in Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery total. Why did it go up? It was 194 not long ago. That's quite a jump. She said, and she went on about it, and it makes sense, I guess, that folks are going on vacations. And they're going to states where there's a high amount of infected people. Their numbers are, by statewide, are really going up. Maybe they went to Florida. Maybe they went to California. Maybe they went to the state of Washington to visit their grandparents. For whatever different reasons, they left New York, these families, and they're coming back, and they are finding throughout the whole county. She said Warwick, she said Goshen. The whole county's numbers are going back up now because families are coming back to New York infected. The whole family. Now, if they don't really know they're sick, or you have that, you're in that 14-day window that you get it in before you have symptoms, maybe it's 7 days for you and 14 days for someone else. How many people did you see? How many people did you touch? How many people did you hug? How many people were you around after coming back from your vacation? She said, that is exactly why the numbers are going up. It made sense to me. It's nice weather, people are gathering, people are having parties over at their house, they're barbecuing, we have outside birthdays that you don't have in the wintertime, graduations, all kinds of things. But she said the biggest reason right now is vacations. And the last thing I want to say is, and you can take this to the bank, I talked to her again tonight, a couple hours ago. Whatever cases are on West Point, whatever numbers of cases that West Point has, positive cases, and I know what they have. I know how many cadets they have that are positive. Those numbers, not one of those numbers is in our numbers. People think we're involved in those numbers. It's important that everyone knows we're not. For whatever reason, it's important. It's important because it's a fact, if nothing else. West Point has their numbers, the town of Highlands has their numbers. So that's important to know, because you hear stuff. Thank you. Jim?
All right, so a lot of great things were touched on tonight, but just wanted the public to know that, you know, there's no negative vibes up on this board. We don't have negative vibes. You know, we do the best that we can with the parts that we have, i.e. money. Take example, this room. If you went back and looked at the first time we had a meeting in this room, it was very dark. This room is phenomenal right now. It's well lit, great place for the seniors to come and have events. Again, a positive thing. So, you know, but without the parts, it's kind of tough for us to get things done. But we're trying the best that we can. Unfortunately, sometimes we can't get things done this year, but we work on them next year. They do not go to the bottom of the pile. They stay on the pile and to the top as much as possible. Speaking about the rain that's coming, there is a drought in 4 regions in New York. Hopefully these rains will take care of that, but it is the summer. We did have a couple of hot days or weeks, and we just need to be aware that a drought can still happen. So just keep that in mind. Conserve water the best you can. It's not only good for your water bill, but for the environment as well. I always touch on the algae blooms every year, Mr. Mayor. And there again, you can go on the DEC's website. A lot of people are using bog meadow and the other ponds. No, there's not a confirmed case there yet. But with that being said, when you do bring your boat up there, you know, obviously you can't leave them there, so you're taking them home at night. So if you go to the different lakes or whatever, and you come home that night or the next morning, if you wash the bottom of the boat off, it can prevent that algae bloom from being transferred to another lake, should there be one in that one. So just a little maintenance on your boat. It'll make it worth more in the long run if you take good care of it. There are a couple of vacancies out there. Everybody's looking for jobs. Again, you can go to the New York State government's website. If you have a bachelor's degree, they are looking for engineers. They're looking for environmental engineers, civil engineers, et cetera, et cetera. Go on their website. They are hiring. Obviously, you have to go through, jump through all the hoops to get into that position, but there are jobs out there. And there is one that I'll just bring up right now. It's the Assistant Commissioner for Public Protection and Emergency Responses. Again, that location is going to be up in the Albany Central Office, and that deadline is on the 7th of August. So there's a couple places out there. If you are looking for a job and you have those skills, please apply.
Great stuff. I'll take a motion to adjourn. You have anything else?
I just wanted to note for the board that I have begun work on the developers agreement for Thayer Flats.
Okay.
That was approved by the Consolidated Planning Board. I have all their comments, I have Todd's comments, and I'm starting to work on that.
So when you're done, could you give it to us as a draft for a
Absolutely.
couple of weeks to look at?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Motion.
I'll take a motion. Oh, yeah. That's it. Oh, thank you. I lost my agenda. I need a motion, and this, you won't be long, I need a motion to go into executive session on a personnel issue. Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second? Second by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. This will be. Thank you, thank you.